Welcome to the Nerdstalgic podcast with your host, the Ginger Bookworm. Nerdstalgic with the Ginger Bookworm. Nerdstalgic with the Ginger Bookworm.
Howdy beans, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Nerdstalgic podcast. I'm your host, Luke the Human. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're all good, as per usual. Before we get into today's wonderful topic, I'm going to do a bit of housekeeping because I like to keep my house nice and clean. So, first of all, make sure that you follow me on Twitter at nerdstalgic_pod to be kept up to date on everything and anything that I am doing. Also, if you haven't done so yet and you are listening on YouTube, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. They will help me out immensely because of how YouTube's algorithm works. Subscribe is wonderful, but a like and a comment takes me a lot further. So if you haven't done so yet, please do that now. And if you listen to this on Spotify and you haven't done so, please leave a rating between 1 to 5 stars. If you like what you hear today, you can do it now or you can do it at the very end. It's up to you. But wherever you feel like is fair, 1 to 5 stars will actually help the channel grow. So, today's topic is going to be Summer Games Fest 2014, the Geoff Keighley show. I'm really looking forward to this one. I did it last year. Last year, to be honest, I went like a bat out of hell. I was a bit crazy. I covered all the game shows. I did the Summer Game show. I did the Xbox. I did Ubisoft. I think I did EA as well. And it was mental. It was a lot of fun and it was a lot to cover. And I'll be honest with you, I was exhausted by the end of it, but I had so much fun. I thought, you know what? I'm going to make it a yearly thing and I'm going to do it again in Series 3. Now, I just want to mention the elephant in the room because I've been talking for about 2 minutes or so now. So you might have noticed that I might sound different, that the quality might be better, it might be worse. The simple reason is, and I won't go into long because there's a lot to talk about today. And of course, when it actually comes to the showcase itself, I'm going to be talking a long time about that. So I want the introduction to be as short as possible. That being said, the reason things are going to sound a little bit different is, for one, I am using a brand new mic, and I'll get onto that bit shortly. And I'm also recording off Audacity. Now, beforehand, I used to use Spotify podcasts, and I used to record off my phone with my headset. But I can no longer do that. As of June, I'm recording this currently, pre-recording it in May, but as of June, basically Spotify Podcasts has decided to get rid of their podcasting features. Don't know why. They haven't really given a valid reason. What that means is the fact that I can no longer record on using their app on the PC or on my phone. I can only do it. I have to record it externally somewhere else and I can upload it to them. So I'm having to learn how to use Audacity. So if things sound different, if the quality's not great, I do deeply apologize. I'm still learning how to use Audacity. Luckily, the wonderful people in the Podpack Collective, Chats and Army, Casting Views, Review It Yourself, the wonderful ladies from Two Girls, One Reusable Cup, Seismic Cinema, they've all been really wonderful. They've been helping me out a lot, trying to get to grips with this software. So things might sound different. I might not sound as good. Things might feel a lot more different, but it's still me. It's still Luke the Human. It's still the Nerdstalgic podcast. I just wanted to give a sort of answer as to why things have been a bit slow and things might seem a little bit different. As for the mic that I'm using the Logitech Pro X. The reason I bought this mic, one, I absolutely adore Logitech. I'm a huge Logitech fan. I'm a bit of a Logitech fanboy, if you want the honest truth. But the reason I bought this headset is because it comes with Blue mic. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, Blue is a microphone company that develops some of the best microphones in the business. This headset comes with Blue software built in, and I won't go into full detail about it, because we're not here to talk today about it, but that's why my voice sounds a lot more different, is because I've messed around with the settings, and also having Blue voice note enabled allows me to have better clarity, and what I say actually comes out sounding a lot better. So that's why things will sound differently. My old microphone was wonderful. I'm still going to use it for gaming and things like that, but whenever time I recorded using it on Audacity, the quality was always terrible. It's a fantastic mic. I really recommend it, but it picks up too much stuff in the background, and the quality just sounded terrible. So I had to buy myself a brand new mic that sounds better and more professional when being processed through Audacity. So fingers crossed, this quality is sounding a lot more better. So I just wanted to give you an update as to why things might be different. And from moving forwards, I will be using Audacity. And as I get to grips with it and as I use it, I feel like my first year in podcasting again. I'm relearning new things and things are going to change from here. So hopefully all you beans stick with me and support me through it. And if there's anything that you don't like, if the quality is not great, please do let me know. And I will try my best to figure out how to fix that and what I need to do with Audacity to make it sound better. But this is my first try. This is my first go around. So fingers crossed, it sounds great. Anyway, on with the topic. So, my memories of Summer's Game Fest last year is I really, really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with what was announced. And I just like how Geoff Keighley does game showcases. The problem is with showcases was the fact of they had too many sort of cinematic trailers but not enough gameplay, whereas the Summer Games Fest, it was more gameplay and then as well as trailers as well, but you got a lot more gameplay, which is kind of more important, really, if you ask me, in my opinion. And other game showcases have started to do the same. Xbox started doing it, Ubisoft somewhat starting to do it, and Sony and so on and so forth. It started to be a lot more common thing, but it sort of took a while to get to that point. But I always like Summer Showcase because it feels a lot more sort of indie. Even though it's not, it just feels a lot more genuine, a lot more sort of, I'm here for the people, the gamers, the players, the watchers, the streamers. I'm here for you. It feels more friendly in that respect. But anyway, I want to look back at the games that were announced last year and best how to sort of predict what we might get this year. So last year we got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming early this year, 2024. We also got Spider-Man 2, the release date for that, which was in October. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is coming next year. As we know, that game came out quite recently. Mortal Kombat 1, again, we got to see the bone-crushing sort of physics and gameplay from that. Fortnite Worlds revealed with the Transformers. We had Sonic Superstars in his new 2D classic Sonic game. Alan Wake 2, which I still haven't played yet. I have Alan Wake 2. I just haven't got around to actually playing it yet. Like a Dragon, Gaiden. Then we had Star Trek Infinite, John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, which comes out later this year, I think. Sandland, which has been released. That was announced here. Power World, which actually blew up and actually took the gaming world by storm, and still is, to be honest, was announced. Lord of the Rings, Return to Moria. Obviously, Final Fantasy XI, Ever Crisis, Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. I've heard that's actually quite good, actually. Baldur's Gate 3 introduced Jason Isaacs as a major villain. I still haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. I really want to play it, but I haven't got around to it yet. Twisted Metal, the TV show. We got Marvel Snap getting new competitive mode. New season of Call of Duty. Path of the Exile 2 gameplay. Exo Primal getting a sort of a Street Fighter 6 crossover. Liza P demo, which I remember I promised that after watching the demo and watching the new release that I went off and played it, and I did, and I went off and played it, and I did a review for it and actually did quite well. I still haven't actually played the full game of Liza P, but I did quite enjoy the demo, and I do promise one day I will get around to sitting down playing Liza P. Then you had Netflix The Witcher season 3 trailer came out. Henry Cavill is sadly gone now. Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2 reveals co-op, which I can't wait for that game to come out this year. I really can't. And obviously Nicolas Cage was in Dying Light and a few other things. But this is just trying to give you an idea and a recap of what is to come this year. This then leads me on to what Geoff Keighley posted on the 16th of May 2024, where he says, you've been waiting for this one. Here's a first look at more than 55 partners taking part in Summer Games Fest activities this June. So we have 2K, Amazon Games, Amazing CSUN, Anuna Pura, Art Games, Atari, Bandai Namco, Blumhouse Games, Boken, Capcom, Day of the Devs, Deep Silver, Devolver Digital, Discord, Dolby, Electronic Arts, Embark, Epic Games, Focus Entertainment, Funcom, Hoyaverse, I am 8-Bit, Inner Slough, Iron Mace, Jamiyama, Level Infinite, Magic the Gathering, Meta, NC, NetEase, Netflix Games, Nexon, Niantic, Party Animals, PlayOn, PlayStation, Poker Pair, Private Division, Razer, Riot Games, S Games, Samsung Gaming Hub, Sega, SNK, Steam, Sublink, Suberical, Thunderful, Teamy, Thorn Banner, Ubisoft, Uncapped Games, Warner Brothers Games, and Xbox. I'm sure more are going to be announced. This is just to kind of give you an idea of who's involved, not just sort of the developers, but also what companies will be involved. So you more than likely you'll see advertisement for like new like Amazon TV shows as well as Amazon games, and you'll probably get things from Magic the Gathering and Meta and new sort of headsets and all that sort of jazz. So you're going to potentially see a variety. As to what I feel like we might see this year, I'm not sure. Like it is all up in the air at the moment. But from what Geoff Keighley has kind of been hinting at, really, that there's some exciting things to come, and I'm generally sort of quite excited. Like here's a look at the more than 30 partners that will participate in some of his game sets. So like Activision, 2K, Atlas, Blue Power, more Square Enix, Raw Fury, Steam, Skybound Games, things like Focus Entertainment. I think I mentioned them already, but a lot is already being slowly drip fed to us. And this is, I'm currently recording this in May, so I actually haven't watched the event yet. But my hopes for the Summer Games Fest, I want to see, I would love, and I feel like this would be the place to see it. I'd love to see more of Space Marines 2. I want to see more gameplay because that game keeps getting pushed back, and I want it to be pushed back. Like this is a game that is going to push the boundaries of technology and graphics and the amount of enemies are going to be. Because if you're going to do a Warhammer game, if anybody's played any sort of Warhammer or knows anything about Warhammer, or even you played Space Marines on Xbox 360, you know that the whole point of that game is to be swarmed by goblins or monsters or Tyranids, to be swarmed by creatures. And as a Space Marine, your job is to kind of go into the fray, get into the thick of it, and just unleash. So I'd hopefully, fingers crossed, see more from them. From is it Focus, or is it? No, is it? Oh, it's not Dan Boss. Who is it now who's doing it? Anyway, I'd like to see more from Space Marines 2. I'd like to see more of that game. Deep Silver. I'd like to see Metro from Deep Silver. I would really want to see some Metro. I love Metro, and I've been waiting a long time for Metro. I really have. It's been too long for anything Metro related. So we need Metro in our lives. Capcom, hopefully they show some stuff from Resident Evil, not just any new Resident Evil remake would be wonderful. I'm really hoping for Code Veronica, but we will see. Potentially we might see stuff from Resident Evil 7. More than likely, if Activision are involved, it'll be new Call of Duty. I don't doubt it. Sega, potentially some Sonic stuff. Square Enix, to be honest, Square, they're not the same company that they was, to be honest. So I used to be a huge fan of Square Enix, but I've kind of fallen off the wagon with them. Warner Brother Games, more than likely it'll probably be advertising the new season for Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. More than likely, it wouldn't surprise me. Skybound Games, would be interested to see what they do. I think they're the ones that are doing. Are they the guys that are doing the Expanse sort of Telltale sort of game? Oh no, or are they the ones doing not the Evil Within? The Wolf Among Us. Maybe, if I'm correct, I'd like to see some Wolf Among Us 2 from them. Focus Entertainment always do a fantastic job in games. Devolver again. I think my hopes, really, without going on too much, is that whatever we see blows me away. And I'm sure it will, because the last year did, with what was shown. And I know Geoff Keighley's going to put a bit of a show on. So that's my hope. Fingers crossed, is that we're going to get a fantastic show from Geoff Keighley. And I know we will. And I'm sure, as recording this now, knowing my luck, Geoff Keighley will write something on Twitter in either tomorrow or later today or whenever, I'd be like, oh, this company's in, and blah blah blah. So I can't tell the future, but I'm sure it's going to be a good show. So that's all I have to say really for the introduction. I am going to wait now until the showcase, but you beans don't have to. For the power of the future and the power of podcasting, I'll be waiting here, but you guys in just a few seconds will be able to hear my thoughts and feelings of the Summer Games Fest 2024. Right, let's get into it, shall we?
Hey everyone, this is Satsunami from the Chatsunami podcast, and you're listening to the Nerdstalgic podcast. Without any further ado, let's get back to the episode.
So I just finished watching the Summer Games Fest. It was 2 hours long, and as recording this, it is 12:01 a.m. midnight, and I am absolutely shattered. So if I sound a bit tired, I do apologize for that, but I do it for you. I'm dedicated for you guys at the end of the day. While I was watching this show, it reminded me of what I love and enjoy about Summer Games Fest, the Geoff Keighley show. And the reason I enjoy it so much is the fact of as I've gotten older and I've got a lot more of a maturer gamer, and my tastes in games have changed, and my understanding of the industry by studying it at university, as well as being more into sort of the news that comes out of video games and development and things like that, as well as doing the podcast. I don't find myself stingent to be like, oh, I'm a console boy or anything like that. I find myself now being more of the sort of opportunistic sort of person. I'm up for any sort of game, no matter what it is. And what I love about Geoff Keighley's show, the Summer Games Fest, is the fact of you get a sync for everybody. It's not just the fact of, oh, you're only getting this game for this console, or you're getting this game for this platform. It's like it's a bit of everything. You get the AAA, you get the AA, you get the indie, but those games that are only made by one person on a shoestring budget, things like that. And I really appreciate shows like that, especially when, because what I loved about this show was that it opened up where Geoff Keighley mentioned it, like, look, we went through a lot of hardship so far this year with a lot of studios being closed down and things like that. And it really sort of brought into the idea of like, look, we understand as gamers and as fans that we love this medium, and there has been some strife so far this year, but there is a lot of good games to come out by big companies and by the little person as well. And I like that how he sort of showcases them, the big and the small. So I think that's absolutely wonderful. But there's a lot to talk about, so I won't go into that. I just wanted to mention it at the beginning. So one of the things I'm going to do with this is, as I did last year, I've got a huge list in front of me of all the games that was announced. Some I'll talk about for a bit, some I don't really have anything to talk about, but I will mention the ones. I will talk about mostly the ones that interested me. So to begin off the show, we had Lego Horizon Adventures gameplay trailer. This is coming holiday 2024, which is a huge departure from the series. So I don't have a PlayStation. I've never played the Horizon games with Aloy, and it's made by Guerrilla Games, the people that make Kills and anything like that. I've never played the first game, haven't played the second game. I've heard they're quite good. And when I saw this, it was opening the show, that they go in a huge departure where Guerrilla has decided that they're going to take the Horizon series and put it into the form of Lego. Sounds crazy and looks crazy, but you know what? It works, oddly enough. And I say that as an outsider, as I've never played the first two games. It's a huge departure in the series, but just to see it in Lego form, and being a huge Lego fan that I am, I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of interested in giving that a go, which is strange because the first two games, they looked interesting, but because they're on PlayStation, I was just like, no. But then when I saw this as Lego, I was like, you know what? That sort of enticed me to look at, maybe I should get a PlayStation to give it a go. You know what I mean? It's strange that Lego would do that, but at the same idea, it's the fact of, well, why not branch out? Why not do something different with the IP, with the sort of with the property, with the genre, and just try something completely new and bring in a new audience like me who had no interest or didn't play the original games, but like Lego. You know what I mean? So it's a big departure, but it's incredibly interesting. So that's coming holiday 2024. Then we had No More Room in Hell trailer, which is early access for Halloween this year, 2024. Then we had Harry Potter Quidditch Champions trailer and some gameplay. This comes out September the 3rd. I have Hogwarts Legacy. I got it for Christmas last year. I still haven't played it. I have a huge list of actually games I got for Christmas that I still haven't played because my backlog is so huge that I haven't even got around to playing any of the new ones. But one of my biggest worries when that game was announced and it came out was the fact of a lot of people said, like, look, there won't be no Quidditch when it comes out. We ain't doing Quidditch. There's no Quidditch. And obviously when it comes out, there was no Quidditch. And the worry was for me was the fact of, well, why haven't they put Quidditch in? Then it came to light that Warner Bros. Was like, the reason we didn't put Quidditch in is because we're making our own standalone sort of Quidditch game, which, you know what, I figured, fair enough. They want to do it, they want to make their own money off it, and they know they can make money off it. They want to make money off the Harry Potter license, so why not do it separately? I do hope that if they make a Hogwarts Legacy 2, that they bring Quidditch into that. But seeing the gameplay and seeing the trailer for this one really got me excited because I don't know if anybody listening has ever played it. But if you ever played, I think it was Quidditch World Cup for the PlayStation 2, and I think it was on the Xbox and the GameCube. But if you ever played that back in the day, that's what it reminded me of. The art style looks almost exactly the same. The gameplay looks the same, just like more modern, a lot more sort of high definition, 4K, next gen sort of look to it. And I haven't played that game since I was a nipper, really. Like I said, I played it on my friend who had it on the PlayStation 2. So it was a long, long time ago. So to see that gameplay and to know that they went the style of not realistic, they went the style of like cartoony sort of style from the original games, gets me really excited. And it would be a game that I would happily pick up and play, even if I had no one to play with it, play on my own. I'd happily, like, it's funny, I don't like sports games. I'm not interested in FIFA and NFL and all that. But you tell me that there's going to be a sports game of Quidditch, I'm all in. By all means, if I can make my own Quidditch team and design the logo and design the colours that all my team wears, that's fantastic. If there's a campaign mode, a career mode, whatever you want to call it, I'll play that as well. So, yeah, if you want to get me into sports, do a Quidditch game, and I'm interested. So that comes out September the 3rd this year. We're looking forward to that. Then we had Cuff Bust, gameplay trailer. That's coming 2025. Then we got Star Wars Outlaws. We got a bit of a new look at the game, a few new look at the game before Monday's Ubisoft event. I will be covering Ubisoft's events. If anybody was wondering, I will be covering that. And Star Wars Outlaws is one of those that I'm most excited for. But from looking at this, to be honest, I said this last year, and I thought the exact same when I saw this new sort of look, this new gameplay, is the fact of it looks fantastic. It looks like Star Wars, but because I know it's made by Ubisoft, it has my back against the wall. It has me worried, mostly because I am worried the fact of it is going to be Far Cry in space. Now, that's just a worry of mine, is the fact of I don't want to have to play it and be like, oh, look, Star Wars, fantastic. And I'm like, hold on a second, I'm basically playing Far Cry. And I'm not, I wish I was joking, but that's just kind of what most of Ubisoft's games are nowadays. If it's not Assassin's Creed, it's like a Far Cry clone, or it's a Division. And that's what worries me, because they did it with Avatar. I haven't played the new Avatar game, but from everybody I know who's played it and all the reviews I've seen, they just say it's Avatar, but it's Far Cry with an Avatar skin. And that's what worries me, is the fact of I'm excited because it's Star Wars, but please don't give me Star Wars, but have the underbelly of Far Cry. That's what worries me. Keep Far Cry, keep Star Wars, do something different, do something unique, and that's what I hope. But again, we'll find out more on Monday's Ubisoft event show. Then we had a trailer for Never. That's coming in 2024. Then we had another trailer for Civilization 7. Which had a cinematic trailer. That's coming in 2025. I've never really played any of the Civilization games. I think I played Civilization 4 or 5 on the Xbox 360. I think. I played the demo. I'm actually sure which one it was, but I remember I played the demo of it on the Xbox 360. Didn't really much like it, to be honest. But people like them. Then we've got Blacksmith Wukong trailer. That's coming in August the 20th, 2024. I'm excited for this one because this is a game that has been in the works for a long, long time. And it's one of those, every time you see it, you just I'm blown away by how gorgeous it looks and how next gen it looks. And then you hear that it was made by I think it was one person at the beginning, and it slowly grew to a small team. And that's why it's taken it so long to be made and to sort of brought in to be released, really. So I'm excited to hear more about Blacksmith Wukong, play the game and to see it and see what it looks like and all that jazz. So I'm excited for that. Then we had Once Human trailer. That's coming July the 9th, 2024. Then we had another Space Marines 2 trailer. That's coming September the 9th, 2024. I'm excited. I'm ecstatic for Space Marines 2. I absolutely adored the first Space Marines game. I've wanted to get into the 40k universe for years, but the 40k universe is incredibly intimidating because it's so vast, it's so huge, there's so much lore and there's so much to it, and you've got all the miniatures and you've got all the games and all that stuff that's about it. It's just the fact, if I want to get into this universe, but I never know where to begin or where to start. I want to read the books, but I don't even know where to begin with those. And for me, my introduction to the sort of 40k universe was Space Marines on the Xbox 360. I played that game multiple times. I even played the multiplayer, and I adored that game, and I'd always wanted a sequel to it. And as the years went on, I never thought that we'd ever get a sequel. And finally, it was announced that we're getting a sequel to Space Marines. And, it's going to be a co-op. You can play with 2 other friends, play for the story in co-op, and there's going to be multiplayer. And, it looks gorgeous, and it's everything that you want from a Space Marines game next gen. You want tons of Tyranids and Orcs and there's all the enemies on the screen that you can just hack and slash and shoot your way through. That's what you want to see. That's what you're going to get from next gen, and I'm excited for it. And I'm close to breaking my golden rule. I have a golden rule that ever since Anthem and I'm trying to think what the other one was. There was another one. But Anthem and sort of games in that vein that I've pre-ordered in the past and I've been burnt by. Ever since then, I basically said that I will no longer pre-order a game. Don't pre-order. And it was one of those where it was I will never do it ever again. But Space Marines 2 has got me very tempted to pre-order. Because of how excited I am for it, how fantastic it looks. It looks polished. It looks great. And again, these are all trailers. It might not be polished. It might not look great. It might actually play terribly. We won't know till the game comes out. And usually I would wait for reviews. But I'm that excited for it. I'm incredibly tempted just to pre-order it and just to see. If it's crap, it's crap. If it's good, it's good. But again, I won't know till I play it. And I kind of don't want to wait. And September is relatively close, really. It's not that far away. So we will see. Fingers crossed. One thing I do hope they do, which they haven't announced it, but what I hope they do is that they will do a multiplayer beta. That's what I'm hoping for. If they can release the beta for that close before the game gets released, just so we can get a feel of what the gameplay is like through the multiplayer, and we get to see what the multiplayer is like, and hopefully from doing that, they sort of fix any bugs or any issues with that. I would imagine that's what they would do, because that's what most multiplayer sort of games do, is that they release the multiplayer first. And that's what they used to do back in the day anyway, like Halo Reach, for example. Back in the day, you would play Halo 3 ODST, and then you get access to the Halo Reach multiplayer beta, and then you could play it online, and then you can see how it feels, and they could fix it. So that's what they used to do back in the day. And I know they somewhat do it still today. So that'd be my hope, is the fact of then we can get our hands on it. We can feel what the game feels like and plays like. And they can fix it if it needs fixing. But I'm generally tempted to pre-order. But I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'll announce it on Twitter if I do, if I'm brave enough. But it's generally got me excited. Then the next game that was announced was Metaphor. Game announcement and trailer. That's coming in October the 11th, 2024. Then we got another VR game. This one was a story trailer for Batman Arkham Shadow, coming fall 2024. I want to be excited for this. I really do. But because I don't have a VR headset because I don't want a Meta headset because I don't really want to be involved in anything to do with Facebook and Meta and all that. It's one of those where I'm excited that they're continuing the Arkham story and the Arkham sort of Knight and the Bat. But what bothers me is that it's VR and that I probably would never get to experience it. So I'd probably end up watching a YouTube walkthrough of somebody playing it to get that story. Um, so that it's hard to get excited for something that you know you're not going to play. I'm excited for it because it's Arkham, it's Batman. I love the series, but it's hard to get excited for something that you'd never experience. Really, my brother's got a headset, so I might, if he gets it, I might say, "Oh, can I give it a go?" But other than that, I probably would never play it. But still, it looks good. We've got Ratcatcher. He's the main villain in it. Well, he looks to be the main villain in it anyway in the story trailer. So I'm excited to see what the game is going to be like, but I'll probably never play it, to be honest. But it's neither here nor there. We got more Arkham, so that's not so bad. Then we got Street Fighter 6, new character reveal trailer. New characters reveal trailer. Then we got Tears of Metal gameplay trailer. There's a very mix of like indie stuff and AAA stuff, which I really, really liked. Then we got Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero trailer coming October the 11th, 2024. Then we got Delta Force Hawk Ops gameplay, which is the Delta Force multiplayer side of this campaign. So you've got Delta Force Hawk Ops gameplay trailer, and the alpha test for that comes in July. Then we got to see some Delta Force Black Hawk Down gameplay for the campaign side of trailer, and that looked really, really good. Because Geoff Keighley said that they took scenes from the original Black Hawk Down movie. So they used certain scenes, certain events that happened in that movie for the game. And I think he said some things are licensed from it as well. I don't know if it's licensed scenes or voice acting or music or what, but it's copying very much of obviously the real events, obviously, but of the movie that came out, which is a fantastic movie. If you've never watched Black Hawk Down, I highly recommend it. It's a great movie. It's a long film, but it's one of those that just kind of pulls you in and hooks you for a long time. It's a fantastic film. But that got me interested. I don't know if it's ever going to come to console. It looked like it was PC only, but I would imagine that it could eventually come to console down the line if it gets successful, if enough people buy it and sort of keep it going. So we'll see. Then we had Fatal Fury gameplay trailer. This is coming in early 2025. And then the next part got me really excited, really, really interested, really, because it was announced that Blumhouse, the guys that make the Five Nights at Freddy games and a lot of other horror films, have basically decided that they're going to make their own game studio, Blumhouse Games. And they were here at the show, and they basically showed off all the games that they currently have sort of in the works that they're working on, all horror game related, all indie studios. And there were so many of them that I just thought I'd list them here. And if you're interested, you can look more into them. So you had Crystal Theatre of Idols, Grave Seasons, Sleep Awake, Fear the Spotlight, The Simulation, and Project C. We didn't really get anything on Project C, but all the others, we got to see gameplay and how they look, and they all look and feel very different. They're all very different genres and feels of video games, all horror related. But it gets me excited where you've got a big company like Blumhouse are looking at indie developers of like, look, we're going to fund you to make the most crazy, batshit sort of insane horror games that you want to create. And you haven't got to worry about anything like that. We'll do all the heavy lifting. You've just got to make the games and then we'll publish them. And on an indie standpoint, I love it. And on a horror standpoint, I love it. Even though I'm a big wuss when it comes to playing horror games, I'm always up for giving them a go. As people know, if you've listened to the podcast long enough, you know that I'm up for giving them a go, even though I'm a big wuss. But that whole thing, that idea behind it has got me incredibly excited. Then another thing that really fascinated me, and kind of shocked me because it was a surprise. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind gameplay trailer. This reminded me of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles sort of a side-scrolling game that came out quite recently. Shredder's Revenge, that was the name. It reminded me of Shredder's Revenge. Very sort of side-scrolling, Streets of Rage sort of game with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, with a mix of 2D and first person, and then seemed to 3D at points as well. It was very scattered in the different types of perspectives. But I haven't thought about Power Rangers or even a Power Rangers game in a long time. I still actually haven't watched the Power Rangers movie that came out a couple of years ago with Bryan Cranston in it. So I've got to get around to watching that. But I haven't thought about Power Rangers in years. I used to be a huge Power Rangers fan when I was younger. So to see that they're kind of coming back with a 2D side-scrolling arcade sort of game is an interesting take, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll see what it's like when it actually released and people start to get their hands on it, and I'm happy to sort of look at the reviews. Then we had a trailer for the Deer and the Boy. Then we had Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 gameplay trailer. That's coming in 2024. I've never played Kingdom Come Deliverance. I know it's a realistic take on the medieval genre, medieval setting. It's an RPG, but it's very survival sort of RPG, very realistic. Like, you can get diseases, you can die. If you get a cut and you don't heal it, or depends on the wound, it could get infectious and you die. And like, it's very realistic. I feel like I'm that's correct anyway. I've never played it. Just from what I've seen other people play, that it's a very realistic take on the medieval sort of fantasy RPG genre, which is incredible. I'm glad games like that exist, even though I probably would never play a game like that, because I think I just get frustrated of constantly getting dysentery or some sort of sepsis disease because I didn't properly look after my wound. But even so, I'm glad games like that exist. So, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 gameplay trailer coming later this year in 2024 should be exciting to see. Then we had Slit Ahead gameplay trailer. This is by the same bloke that made Silent Hill. This is his new game. This is coming out on November the 8th, 2024. This is a weird game. This is absolutely freaky looking game. It looks like voodoo sort of blood magic. If anybody has seen what's it called? Now, what's that spin-off of The Boys? Gen V, when you've got that girl and she can kind of do blood. She has blood powers that she can do. That's the best way I can explain it. There was one guy that made a Gatling gun, a mini gun out of blood, and then there's another guy that was making swords, and then one guy had his sort of wrist and hand cut off, and as it was flying through the air, the blood shot out through the sort of wound in his arm, shot out, grabbed his wrist and sucked it back in and reattached his arm. And then one woman had like blood claws, kind of like Wolverine sort of claws, and it was just hacking and slashing its big monster. Absolutely freaky, and the designs were incredible. And again, I've never played Silent Hill, but I love freaky, weird, strange games like this. So it's got me excited. It's got me interested. And that's coming November the 8th, 2024. Then this game, the next one, I had to laugh when I saw the title. I had to laugh when I saw the whole gameplay, because I just thought to myself, this game was made for me. And hopefully it comes to consoles. And if it doesn't, hopefully it does later down the line. But it's called Killer Bean. And you had a gameplay trailer, and it's basically there's this bean who is kind of like a John Wick assassin, a hitman sort of thing, and he's going around killing people, and there's a lot of slow-mo and there's a lot of cool moves. It was all sort of in-game sort of thing. It was made by one bloke who used to be a special effects artist on, I think it was Matrix Reloaded. I think that's what Geoff Keighley said. But when I saw it, Killer Bean, I thought, I've got to cover it. This game was made for me. If it ever comes on console, I will cover it. I promise you that. But it does look really interesting. It made me laugh as well, because me and beans, and people always associate me and the podcast with beans now, which I embrace it. I think it's funny. So seeing a game like Killer Bean, it's just made for me, and I've got to cover it eventually. Then we had another game called Karen. Cairn, Cairn, gameplay trailer for that. It looked like a rock climbing sort of game. Then we had Wonder Stop trailer coming in 2024. These are by the same people that made the Stanley Parable. Again, those games are absolutely fantastic. I had a lot of fun with those games as well. I love the twists and the turns and kind of the freedom of choice, really, of basically being able to do whatever you want. Who knows if that game's going to be the same, but I can imagine there is going to be a twist because all of their games have a huge twist in them somewhere or somehow. So that'd be interesting to see what it's like and what the twist is. Then we had the Unknown 9 Awakening trailer. That's coming in fall 2024. Then we had another trailer for The First Descendants, a brand new trailer for them. That's coming July the 2nd, 2024, so quite soon. Then we had something that really, really made me smile, and it kind of comes back to what I was mentioning at the beginning of this, was the fact of I'm glad that indie developers are finally starting to get, because we're having a renaissance at the moment of indie. I think people are starting to realize that, AAA is not really what gaming should be anymore, and that it's kind of gone astray, and that people just don't want loot boxes anymore. People don't want to do all, like, having to pay like $70 for a game and all this jazz. It's just not on. People just don't want to do it anymore. And I found myself going back to my Xbox 360 and playing and buying games that I missed out on, because I know that once that I get my hands on that game, I then have that game. I don't have to get an expansion pass. I don't have to buy DLC. I get the game that I paid for in full. And I feel like for a lot of people, it's kind of the fact of, oh, you buy a game nowadays. It's the fact of, oh, you got to buy the season pass, you got to buy the battle pass, you've got to buy this, you got to buy that. And I think people are just getting a bit miffed off about that now. And I think a lot of people going into indie, and I think indie's having a renaissance. And one of the next announcements that I really liked, it was probably the same people that called Innersoft. Now, if you know Innersoft, then you know they are the people that made Among Us. And what a wonderful thing that they've decided to do is that they've decided, from all the money that they've got from Among Us, because they make a lot of stupid buku money, and fair play, I played Among Us. It's absolutely fantastic game. I highly recommend it. I played it with the lads from the Game Club podcast. It was absolutely fantastic time. We had a laugh. But all the money that they made from there, they've decided to do a sort of production company, sort of a fund, sort of a sort of pot, shall we say, called the Outersoft, or the Outersloft, sorry, fund. And basically what it means is the fact of any sort of indie developers who want to sort of fund this idea or project for a game that they have, but has no backing, no support, no advice. This sort of fund gives them that thing, so they can get in touch, they can submit their game, I would imagine, and that they would be funded with money as well as advice and support by this big pot. And I actually love that idea, that this just means that we can get a lot more indie games, that a lot more indie developers are less sort of put off the idea of, oh, how I'm going to publish it, how I'm going to fund it, how I'm going to get it made, how I'm going to pay people to help me make it. It's a lot more the fact of, you ain't got to worry about that now. It's like, just create the games, kind of like what Blumhouse is doing. Just create the game. Don't worry about the funding. Just make your vision, your creative dream, and let us worry about sort of the advertising and all that jazz. And I love that. I think it's an absolutely wonderful thing. So I'm glad they got a chance to go on stage and to talk about what this big fund is, this big project. And I hope that indie developers watch it and go, you know what? I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a crack. I've got an idea for a game. I was worried about the funding. I'm going to apply, and I'm just going to get my vision made. And hopefully that means more games for us in the future. And like I said, it's an indie renaissance at the moment we are in, and it's absolutely wonderful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I just recommend playing more indie games. If you can find them, enjoy them. I loved them back in the 360 day when you had Xbox Arcade. That was full almost every week of brand new indie games, and I played so many of them. And some of them went off and been super successful. And who knows what will be the next Super Meat Boy? Who knows what's going to be the next Bastion? It's incredibly exciting. So I wanted to mention that. Then we got Sonic X Shadow Generations gameplay trailer. That's coming October 25th. This has got me very excited because I haven't been excited for a Sonic game in years. I'll be completely honest. Sonic Frontiers didn't sell me at all. And I haven't played a Sonic game. Tell a lie. The last Sonic game I played was Sonic All Stars Sonic All Stars Racing with Banjo Kazooie on Xbox 360. I actually did a short sort of rapid fire review on my YouTube if you want to check it out on my YouTube Shorts. That was the last proper Sonic game I played, but that was a kart racer. But the actual last Sonic game physically I've played, I think, was actually Sonic Generations, because it was Games with Gold about a year or two ago. And that was fantastic. Absolutely loved and enjoyed that. But I haven't been excited for any Sonic game ever since. And then I saw this, and I remembered back to playing Sonic Generations. If you haven't played Sonic Generations, give it a go. It's absolutely incredible. You get best of both worlds. You get the classic Sonic, and you get modern Sonic. So you get the 2D and you get the 3D. And so if you love Sonic, you definitely go play that game. And if you like Sonic, you've probably played it anyway. But to know that they're going back to the Generations series and you're bringing back Shadow, I'm absolutely sold. For once in a long time, I'm excited for another Sonic game. And not just because it's Shadow, because they're going back to Generations. They're going back to a series that I had a lot of fun with. So I'm very, very excited for that. Then we had Battle Aces trailer, and it's a new RTS game, and we got to see some gameplay for that. Then we got some Alan Wake 2 announcements and news. I haven't played Alan Wake 2 yet. I feel really, really bad about it because I'm a huge Alan Wake fan. I'm a huge Remedy fan. I love Remedy. I've played all of Remedy's games. But Alan Wake 2 is a game that I haven't got around to yet. As I mentioned at the beginning, I have a huge backlog of games that I've got to get through. So even if I bought Alan Wake 2, I probably won't get around to it anytime soon. But some announcements was made that I'm really, really excited about. So first one was that Alan Wake 2 originally, when it was released, came out only digitally. And thanks to it being very super successful and doing really, really well, they have announced that they're doing physical editions. So you can buy the physical edition of the deluxe edition of the game, which comes with all the DLC and season pass and all that jazz. All the story expansions they're doing, as well as there's going to be a collector's edition. Sadly, they didn't show what the collector's edition was going to be, because I'll be honest with you, if it's a decent collector's edition, I just might buy it. But also they showed off the Night Spring Story DLC that's coming very soon. Actually, that soon. It's coming tomorrow. So I'm currently recording this it's currently 12:33 a.m. at night. So technically it comes out today, but officially it comes out the 8th of June, which is tomorrow, which is today. It's confusing. The point is, it comes out very, very soon. Okay. And I'm excited for it. Probably won't get around to it anytime soon, if I'm being honest. I'm hoping to get around to Alan Wake 2 before the year's end. But it's just nice to see that the game did well and was that successful that they're doing physical editions. And I'll probably get the physical edition because I like having physical versions of games. I don't like digital, to be honest with you. So to have a physical edition I can have and hold and put on my shelf, fantastic. And then to know that they're still supporting it with story DLC because it was successful is also grand as well, which I'm really, really glad. Then this is the part where I missed a few games after this point. For one, because I was really excited for all new Alan Wake 2 things, but even though my phone was off, it was still pinging with notifications, and it kept pinging, and I couldn't understand why. So I looked at my phone, and I had loads of notifications all saying the same thing, that the 2002 game The Thing was getting a remaster, and there was a trailer. So at this moment after Alan Wake 2, I just lost and missed a lot of games, so I do apologise. But on the upside, The Thing from 2002, the video game, is getting a remaster, and the trailer looks absolutely fantastic. And I never completed The Thing. My dad had it on the PC, if I remember correctly. I never completed it. I remember playing through the little bit of the beginning, and then I used to get lost in the snow, and I didn't know what to do because, again, I was only young. I never played it and never properly completed it. So knowing that they are remastering that game, and it's coming on consoles and PC, is absolutely a fantastic idea. But also, what's got me excited for as well and this is what I'm going to recommend to people. Obviously, I'll wait for it to come out and to check the reviews out. But the hope is, and the fingers crossed, that if this game is successful, there's a high potentiality that the developers and sort of I think isn't it Warner Brothers who own it? I'm not sure, but whoever own the rights, I think it's Universal actually. So Universal will see that this game's successful, that there's an audience there, that there's a potentiality that they might do a sequel, or they might make a brand new thing, video game story in the vein of Alien Isolation, that sort of thing. Again, I'm just speculating here, but what I'm basically saying is the fact of make it known with your wallets that you are interested, because the only way you'll get more of what you want is by showing that you are willing to sort of pay for a certain experience. So if this remaster goes well, there's a potentiality that we get more the things games. So yeah, I do apologize that I missed Games Out, but it was for another game, so at least I could announce it here. It wasn't announced at the show, but yeah, the Thing remaster was announced with a trailer. Check it out; it looks absolutely fantastic. Then I managed to look up from my phone after being hyped for the Thing, and I saw that Skate gameplay trailer was announced. They've been working on the new Skate reboot for a very long time. I remember I played Skate 1 and I played Skate 3. I liked the Tony Hawk's games. I was never huge into Skate. I remember, again, I'm not a professional skater. I was never huge into Skate. I used to play skating games. But from what I remember being told, and from my experience of playing Skate 1 and Skate 2, was that Skate was a lot more is realistic the right word? A lot more sort of technical. This is what I remember being told by friends. So if I'm wrong, I do apologize. But I vaguely remember friends telling me that Skate was a lot more sort of technical, a lot more sort of realistic, whereas Tony Hawk's was a lot more sort of arcadey, a lot more sort of fun. It wasn't hard to do the tricks. Now, then, I'm not a skate player. I'm not a skateboarder. So I don't know. This is just what I remember being told, so don't crucify me. But yeah, that's just what I was told. So who knows? It might be better. It might not be. But it's nice to see that they're still working on it. They've been working on this for ages. And I'm glad. It's from EA. EA are very known for rushing things. So I'm glad that this studio who's making this game has gone like, look, we're going to take our time with it to get it working, which is really, really good. And I might check it out. Like I said, it won't be something I'd rush out and play, but I might check it out because, again, I did enjoy the Tony Hawk games. I did enjoy Skate on the original, on the Xbox 360. So it'd be a lot of fun to go back and play it when it eventually comes out. Then we had an announcement that Valorant was coming to console. Again, I'm not really interested. I'm not interested in arena games. And I know this game because Angry Joe always takes the piss out of it, like, charging you arms and legs for bloody skins and colours for your guns and all this jazz. And I'm not interested in these sort of games. So it doesn't appeal to me, but it must appeal to somebody out there. Then we had another trailer for the Monster Hunter Wilds, another trailer for that. And then finally, to cap off the show, we had another trailer for Phantom Blade Zero gameplay. And that is your lot. That is everything that was, well, mostly everything, because I missed a few things during my hype for the new Thing game. But that, apart from me missing everything else, is your lot really of what was shown. Overall, if I had to rate it, out of like sort of from A being great to sort of E being, meh, I'd give it a C. The reason being is the fact of, even though that I love that, we get everything, we get to see a multitude of different genres and different sort of games. Even though that I love that and, I'm excited, there were like, I don't know, it just, well, for one, and I know it's crazy to say this, it was 2 hours long. It started at 10 o'clock here in the UK, didn't end until 12, had a very long day. So I am running on sort of like not many hours. I'm knackered at the moment. So if it was earlier, I'd probably be a lot more sort of cheery. And also the fact of, even though they show much of the games, there was some that I couldn't get excited for, like VR. Not really interested in. Not really interested in much of the anime sort of games. Dragon Ball, not really interested in things like that. So it would have been higher if it was maybe a bit of a shorter show, and you sort of less like there wasn't a lot of adverts, but kind of just sort of will it down to just being games and things like that. But overall, it wasn't terrible. Like a C is still good. A C is still a pass, to be honest. And like I said, at the end of the day, what I like about Geoff Keighley's show is that is something there for everybody. If you're going to watch a PlayStation or you watch Xbox or Ubisoft. Well, not exactly Ubisoft really, because Ubisoft tends to do things for everybody because they usually show like Just Dance and all that. But it's mostly when you watch like PlayStation or Xbox, specifically it's going to be just for Xbox fans or just for PlayStation fans, and it's going to be like just console, or it's going to be so you might have a lot more platformers on PlayStation and a lot more shooters on Xbox, that sort of thing. And at least, which is great, but like it's nice to have a sort of different shades of like different types of genres, and that's what I like from the Geoff Keighley show. So overall, I thought it was a good show. I thought it was all right. I liked it. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. But I thought it was all right. It was very middle of the road. It was a C. It was a pass. It was great. But yeah, there's not much more to say. It is currently 12:42. I am knackered. I've been talking for quite a while now. But thank you very much for listening to me. It means the absolute world. I know this is coming out late, and probably majority of you probably won't hear this until the morning of, when you wake up the next day, in the morning of the 8th of June. But yeah, it was an absolute joy to cover these. The next one that I'm going to be covering will be the Xbox showcase, but that's not till Sunday. So it gives me at least a day of rest, which I do need after staying up and recording this. And not that, after finish recording this, I've got to edit it, and then I've got to finish it all off, and then I can upload it to Spotify for podcasts and all that jazz. So I'll be up until late. So I won't be going to sleep till probably about 1:30, 2:00 in the morning. But I'm dedicated. It shows how much I love this, and I love podcasting. I just love covering the game showcase about how much like video games mean to me. So I'm ready for it. I'm dedicated. But you guys don't have to stay up late with me anymore. I'm going to go off and finish off editing and do all that fun stuff. Well, I'm going to let you all enjoy the rest of your day or sleep or whatever time frame, whatever you're doing there. And we're going to talk some more games on the Sunday at Xbox Showcase. But until then, I've been your host, Luke the Human. You've been listening to the Nerdstalgic podcast, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.